Good evening. It's Monday, March 17th, 2025, St. Patrick's Day, and it's my pleasure and honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Good, good, good.
You're looking well.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I see you got your green on. You got your green, where's your cowboy hat?
Huh?
Where's your cowboy hat? Where the hell is it?
Well, they put it in the, where is it?
I put it in on your bookshelf.
Yeah.
I thought he had some special glasses today too.
Oh, I gotta go get those. I'll be right back.
Okay. So you had a nice day, Mr. Jeckovich?
Yeah.
Are you feeling well? You look well. Is that sweater warm enough for you?
Huh?
Is that sweater warm enough for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You want me to start reading a few pages, or you want to?
Go ahead.
Okay, listen. We're on chapter 3, page 32. This is when you just are in the Army in Long Island and are figuring out where to put you. It was during the 5th week of company duties that we're suddenly awakened one morning before reveille. We were told to get out our equipment together that we're shipping out right after early chow. Naturally, we thought this was the move we were waiting for. Our new careers would be launched. Our new careers would be launched as of this day. So you thought you're going someplace different, right?
Yeah.
After breakfast, and while we're in formation outside our barracks, waiting for the 6x6 military trucks, we were told the startling news that all our plans have been canceled.
Yeah.
Canceled. Why were they canceled?
That's the government.
We were no longer assigned to the Air Corps, but would be to.
I'm gonna talk to somebody.
But
Tell me you're trying to get a hold of somebody.
But we're told the startling news that all the plans were canceled. We were no longer assigned to the Air Corps. Oh yeah, here we go.
Where you go?
Here we go.
Put your sunglasses on.
Valentine's Day glasses.
No, that's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, excuse me. I'm ahead of myself. There you go. Let me get a picture of this guy. You look wonderful, Mr. Jeckovich, and you're such a trooper to cooperate like this. Did you ever do this in your younger years?
Huh?
Did you ever do things like this in your younger years?
Younger?
And when your younger years, did you ever put glasses on like this?
No.
So just now you did. That's wonderful, Mr. Jeckovich.
Here,
You want to wear
them? Take this thing off and take this thing off.
You want to wear them during the show?
Huh?
You want to wear them during the reading?
Here.
Okay, well, that was a nice treat to see Mr. Jeckovich dressed up for St. Patrick's Day. Okay, let's see. So your plans were canceled, and let's see what happens here. We were no longer assigned to the Air Corps, but would be dispersed into various units, none of which would be the Air Corps. I felt the pang of disappointment and a sense of charging that
Now what are you talking about?
You thought you're going in the Air Corps when you first got to the military, and you say right here that the plans changed. They say they didn't put you in the Air Corps. Do you remember that?
No, they had me in 17s, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just reading it here. As we rode the trucks to the train depot, we're all engrossed in our own thoughts, wondering what happened for the Army to make such a complete turnaround decision. It wasn't until several weeks later that we learned the reason for the change in plans. The Allies were preparing for an invasion of Europe and needed all the ground troops they can get. Naturally, we were not told what we're going or would be attached to. As soon as the troop train pulled out of the post depot, I noticed most of the people on board were familiar to me, and that the Army had kept us pretty much together. That was some consolation. I was not to be shipped into some provisional company awaiting assignment as a replacement. We were on the train all that day and night, and most of the second day. All that I was aware of was the traveling in a southerly direction as the snow on the ground was disappearing and it was getting warmer. Now you're going south from Long Island, New York,
Yeah,
right?
going to Owensboro, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful. Toward the end of the second day, we arrived at our destination. As I could see out of the train window, the Army 6x6s lined up to transport us. As we were detrained, it was pleasantly warm outside compared to the cold climate we left behind. From all appearances, this was a huge Army installation. As we drove through the encampment, we observed that it made As we drove through the encampment, we observed that it was made up mostly by permanent stone and brick structures, not the usual type of wooden barracks. It had a pleasant, almost dignified aura about it. I felt as if I would like it here. We were at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Fort Sam Houston is a part of the southeastern part of the state, not too far from the Mexican border. When you were at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, did you go over to Mexico much?
No.
Were you allowed to?
If you had a furlough, yeah. If you had a leave or anything, yeah.
Did many-
Or a pass, yeah.
Did many of the GIs go into Mexico?
Well, they went there for the drinking in it, I guess.
It was founded in 1879 and was primarily a small encampment for Spanish troops based there to protect their missions and colonists. Later, the Mexican troops took over the garrison when Mexico secured its independence from Spain. Then in 1836, the site became historical significance with the Battle of the Alamo between Texas and General Santa Anna's Mexican army. After the Mexican War, the depot served as the Department of Army's headquarters. Troops were quartered into the barracks in the vicinity of the military plaza and the Alamo. The city of San Antonio donated 40 acres to the government for the permanent post in the southeast section of the city known as Government Hill. Fort Sam Houston was officially designated as such in September of 1890. Incidentally, the fort became the birthplace of military aviation in March 1910 with the government purchase of a Wright biplane. That's interesting.
Yeah.
In 1910, the government bought a Wright biplane. Wow. In 1916, General John J. Pershing led a border expedition against Pancho Villa from Fort Sam Houston. With the advent of World War I, the fort was expanded to its present area, 3,300 acres.
Huh?
3,300 acres. What a large camp.
Yeah.
Wow. It became the cradle of the airborne infantry, with the 1st Airborne conducting maneuvers between the post at Fort Clark and Brackenville in 1942. During the same period, it became the 4th Army headquarters for the Department of Army. It also contained the Brooke Medical Center, one of the world's largest medical facilities. The center took care of seriously wounded and injured servicemen from both theaters of operation. Next to Brooke is the U.S. Army Medical Museum, which contained history of the Army Medical Department. Also close by is the Fort Sam Houston Museum, which presents history of the fort throughout artifacts and exhibitions. So did you go to those museums down there?
Huh?
Did you go to the Fort Sam Houston Museum?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting, huh?
A lot of stuff there.
Strangely enough, Lackland Air Force Base was only 12 short miles southwest of Sam Houston. I didn't know that. This is to be our destination for training with the Air Corps. It was rumored that we were in a holding pattern, just waiting for the opportune time to transfer to Lackland. The rumor had some validity, since most of the people who were transferred down here were from the same group from Camp Upton. We were building in permanent cream-colored stucco-type buildings with bright red tile roofs. The individual section rooms contained high ceilings and floor-to-ceiling windows. There was no such thing as air conditioning, right?
No, no.
No, yeah. Each room accompanied by approximately 30 to 40 men. All structures were old, some dating back to the 1890s, wow.
Oh,
But they were all well kept and clean. Minutes?
19.
At the next morning orientation session, we were told that we're in the 508th Combat Military Police Detachment. So now you're in the police department.
and MPs, yeah,
How long were you an MP for?
about 6 months.
And what kind of sidearm did you have?
Had a Bezer, had a pistol, 45.
45. Did you have to have any trouble?
Oh, no. Well, we were down in Mexico where all the Mexicans were there down there.
How about any bar fights?
No, no. Well, the GIs were getting into trouble. We put a lot of GIs in jail.
Okay. So you did that for 6 months?
Huh?
You did that for 6 months?
I didn't stay there about 6 months, no.
Okay. At the next morning's orientation session, we're told that we're in the 508th Combat Military Police Detachment. During the wars in Europe, European theater, is there also military police during the war?
They had GIs? Yeah.
Even when a war is going on?
Well, they were in the war. They were outside getting the blackmailers out and everything else.
Did many people go AWOL?
Army?
Yeah.
One or two. Yeah, one or
It
two.
was small though, right?
Yeah, but they picked them up. They picked them up.
And what happened to them?
But they took some of the stockade.
Yeah. At the orientation, we were marched 3/4 of a mile to the base drill field. While marching there, we could not help noticing that there were, and you're in the center of town.
The what?
You were in the center of the town.
Yeah.
Wow. There were civilians all about, cars whisking by on the roads, and regular city atmosphere prevailed. Was it a busy city then?
Huh?
Was it a busy city then?
Oh, yeah. Well, 42, 43.
This was due to the fact that the fort bordered on two sides with the city of San Antonio, which made it very pleasant from our perspective. So it was nice to be in a city, right?
Yeah.
You weren't in the middle of nowhere. And was it nice, most of the citizens pretty nice?
Nice and clean city, yeah.
Most of the people treated you pretty nice?
Oh, yeah.
Our daily routine had changed considerably what we had become accustomed to at Upton. Reveille was 600 hours and breakfast at 7 a.m. After breakfast, we would march to the drill field for physical training for an hour or so. Then we'd close order drill, lectures, and teachings on various weapons, namely carbines, rifles, and pistols. At lunchtime, we marched back to the quarters and half an hour for lunch, and usually met at the Post Theater for various lectures and movies that covered a wide range of topics. How was the lunch and breakfast?
The food was good. The food was good,
good.
yeah.
Everything from venereal disease to espionage to military law was short subjects on why we were fighting this war, to history of the U.S. Army. Retreat was at 1700 hours and supper from 1730 to 1830 hours. After that period, we were free to roam the post and sections of San Antonio where we were in general confines of the post. Lights out at 2200 hours. So you were able to leave and look at the city?
Oh, yeah. Within that area, yeah.
I did not cultivate any strong or lasting friendships at this point, nor at the next 3 area moves that I experienced. For one, everything seemed to be transitional. We were constantly being moved about. Also, the rumor still persisted that we were eventually transferred to Lackland. Rather than frustrate myself with the matters out of my control, I decided to take it easy and enjoy the beautiful surroundings all about me. There was a supposedly training were with the regular Army, just back from a tour duty in the Pacific. They were all non-coms, buck sergeant, staff, technical, and master sergeant. What's the difference between a buck sergeant and a master sergeant?
Buck sergeant's got 3 stripes, master sergeant's got 3 stripes, and a rocker up below it.
So master sergeant,
It was superior, yeah.
with no officers present at any of our training sessions, most of the non-coms were in their late 20s and mid-30s and excellent physical shape. I could attest to the fact, since they were double timing us for long periods of time, several times during our training period, for any infraction or dereliction in our assigned task, they would have us double time at high port. An M1 rifle held high over our heads with both arms several times around the drill field. There was no mere task at high noon with the blazing Texas sun overhead. Did you ever have to do that?
Yeah, when you're the group, you go with them.
They were all personable and efficient in their duties, but I got a feeling that they were not training us as a part of their team. We were not going to be a cohesive unit with them as our leaders. I did not seem possible. Staff Sergeant Harrington, how was he? Staff Sergeant Harrington
He was regular Army.
was our platoon sergeant, very professional soldier, to say the least, but aloof most of the time with us.
What's his name?
Staff Sergeant Harrington.
Harrington?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
During his various instruction functions, he would converse with us quite naturally, but on our 10-minute breaks, he would return to the other platoon sergeants. They would take their breaks together in their private little group. It affected the other members of the platoon as well as me, as we would discuss it among ourselves, trying to fathom why they were displaying this unorthodox behavior. Minutes, please. Do you want me to get to some of the questions or keep reading?
Read a couple more pages and that's it, yeah.
Okay, then I could get to your questions. I had learned about the Army in a short time. Was that a true leader looked out for our first men he was responsible for. This was the prime concern. We were not getting this display of leadership from our sergeants. The only conclusion we could arrive was they perceived us as being temporary, and there was no sense in building us a spirit de corps among us, as we would be gone in several weeks. Although there was possibility, as some thoughts they were viewed us as future Air Corps officers and did not want any part of us. This again reinforced the Lackland rumor. The training or lack of training evolved into a routine day-by-day ritual. Reveille, breakfast, physical training, lectures, close order drill, and finally retreat. Since I had some free time at dinner before the lights out, I took an opportunity to write to Mother and Sally. Sally's your sister, right?
The what?
Sally's your sister, right?
Yeah.
At this point, I had not received any mail from home, nor had I contacted them on my phone. I decided to call home the next day. As I reviewed my present situation and took stock of where I was literally, I came to realization that this was the farthest I've been away from home in my entire lifetime. I was over 2,000 miles from home, and there was a 1-hour time difference, and I was beginning to get confused with the hour lag in time, since I would daydream at times and wondered what I would be doing at home at this particular time. I had been away from home a little bit over 2 months, and I've seen a familiar face all this time. I was not homesick as such, but I was greatly preoccupied with how Mother and Sally were doing at home. Although it was warm and sunny here, it was in the middle of winter there, and I gave it much thought. So you're in the sunshine,
Yeah,
and they're in the snow.
yeah.
That's not bad. There were several shipping lists posted on a bulletin board above, but they did not involve many people, not like the ones at Uptown, where 30 or 40 people were affected. There was mostly specialty groups, like the ones going to Lackland Air Force Base to the Defense Language Center. They would become interpreters and instructors of various languages, mostly German and Japanese. Would you have been interested in being an interpreter?
No, I couldn't speak a different language.
If they were teaching you?
Oh, you couldn't do that. You pick up that language, though. You gotta have it normally.
As a military police department, we began to pull guard duty around the quadrangle at the 4th Army headquarters at the post stockade. Were there many people in the stockade?
Yeah, GIs, yeah.
What would they get in trouble for?
Not obeying orders, skipping.
Drinking?
Well, everyone was drinking there.
We also pulled over some roving Jeep patrols in the city of San Antonio and always rode with an experienced non-com. What's a non-com?
Non-commissioned. Non-commissioned.
That duty could be pretty hectic, as with our limited experience, we'd be in immediate trouble rather quickly. The roving patrols involve the magnitude of complex duties. We'd primarily keep law and order in the city among the civilians and military personnel. We'll also check the various bars and nightclubs for any disorder to see if the military people were behaving themselves, and they...
Well, the MPs wouldn't fool around you. They'd throw you in jail.
Off the streets after curfew, which a curfew was 2,300 hours. We also checked passes to see if they were ordered, noted the proper uniform was on the pass, and assisted the military in any way we could to make their stay in San Antonio pleasant and safe. The guard duty at the quadrangle and stockade were routine and uneventful. I did not relish being waken up at 200 hours to stand guard duty until 600 hours. The only consoling factor about this duty was that I was off the next 24-hour period. This meant no reveille, no drilling, no marching, and no double timing. Whenever I would receive a 24-hour from duty reprieve, I would catch up on my letter writing to home and maybe make a phone call to see what was going on back there. I especially liked the off-duty time as it afforded me the opportunity to visit San Antonio. How'd you like visiting the town?
San Antonio is a nice city.
Nice and clean?
Yeah, nice and clean, yeah.
How do you think it is today?
Probably the same, yeah. Not like Niagara Falls.
Okay, yeah. San Antonio was a cradle of the Texas Liberty and was the birthplace of Theodore Roosevelt's Rough Riders. It also was a deathbed of heroes like Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, William Travis, James Bonham. San Antonio was a mission city to devote Mexicans and Franciscan missionaries. The area was won by the Mexicans and Spanish during the Mexican Revolution in 1821. In the Battle of the Alamo, 180 defenders valiantly fought to the death against a 5,000-man army of General Antonio Lopez. Military aspects of San Antonio continue with the establishment of the Republic of Texas. On my visit to San Antonio, it was only a matter of crossing the triangle to San Antonio River. The river made a 15-mile horseshoe loop through the 6 miles of downtown city blocks and the beautiful romance of San Antonio. Most of the downtown sections were built before 1930, and the architecture, as was with the fort, represents the Alamo-style roof lines, mixed with seashell ornament buildings and cream-colored stucco with the familiar red tile roofs. Still doing the red tile roofs today?
Yeah.
I can recall walking along the river area with many ships and restaurants coming to the market square, which featured a Mexican pavilion with all its tiny restaurants and eateries. Along the Mexican street was Herzberg Circus Collection and a circus museum, which contained a wealth of circus memorabilia, including paintings and photos of circus personalities and miniature circus. You might answer some of the questions now?
Yeah.
You feel up to it? Okay. Minutes, please.
Four.
Mr. Jeckovich, when you were a boy, what was the oddest job you had?
Now, honest?
Oddest. Oddest.
Honest?
O-D-D-E-S-T. Odd. Oddest job. When you were a boy.
I don't know what you...
What was the most unusual job you had when you were a boy?
doing stuff around the house.
How about delivering all the Polish newspapers?
Do what?
How about delivering all the Polish newspapers?
Well, I had newspaper route. I had 150 papers. Janet Lasinski, Polish paper.
And, you want to get this for me? And did everyone pay you on time?
They paid it reluctantly. They paid it, yeah.
What do you mean reluctantly? You did a good
Well,
job.
they take a couple of weeks to get the money out of them.
Yeah. What kind of car did you learn to drive on?
What? I learned to drive on?
Yeah.
On a Volkswagen.
Oh, I see. What's priceless to you?
What's precious?
Priceless to you. Priceless. Priceless. What's priceless to you? What do you cherish the most?
What do I cherish the most?
Yeah, your health, your
My life.
life. Did you ever go canoeing?
Huh?
Did you ever go canoeing?
Yeah.
I see.
Bowen Lake we went canoeing.
Yeah. When you're having a meal, what do you like to put gravy on?
The meat, I guess.
Okay.
Potatoes, too.
Do you believe in the term, mothers knows best?
Mother's knows best.
Yeah.
Still holds, still holds.
Are you a daredevil?
Huh?
Are you a daredevil?
Daredevil? I don't think so.
Do you think you could beat a lie detector test?
Huh?
Do you think you could beat a lie detector test?
Well, if I didn't do anything bad, I probably would.
Okay. Are you in favor of the death penalty?
Pay for the death penalty, depending who you died.
Okay. Do you often read your horoscope?
Horoscope? Yeah.
Okay. What sign are you?
Libra.
Okay. Are you more like your mom or you're like your dad?
Huh?
Are you more like your mom?
I'm more like my mother.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Do you have a poker face?
Poker face?
Yeah.
What's a poker face?
You don't show your emotions.
Huh?
You don't.
No, no.
Oh, okay. Besides firing guns in the war, have you ever fired a gun in the last 80 years?
Since?
Have you ever fired a gun in the last 80
No,
years?
I never fired a gun. My father never went hunting. We never had a gun or nothing in the house.
So your father wasn't into that at all?
No.
How'd your brother Steve get into so heavily into guns?
Well, he had guns all over, but he never fired them. He was afraid of them, but he's got guns all over, rifles all over the bedroom upstairs.
40 seconds.
Wow. Would you buy a gun today?
Would I?
Yeah.
I had no use for it.
No use for it. Would you consider a pet, like a cat or a dog, as a pet?
A what?
Since you're retired, would you consider a dog or a cat for a pet?
No, no dogs, no cats. Dogs and cats out in the woods. Out in the woods or out in the farms.
Wow. Did you ever have a dog or cat when you were a boy?
No.
Wow. Did you want one?
No, not really.
Did you like a birds? Would you like some birds?
Well, we had a fish tank, we had fishes in it, but that's about it.